Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about a subject that's very fresh on my mind right now, as I have multiple friends currently pregnant during this COVID-19 pandemic. And just while this information is fresh in my mind, I want to make a video. I really want to just talk about how to healthily handle pregnancy, the things that I learned along the way with my first pregnancy that I hope to carry with me into the next time I get pregnant. You might be worried about this whole process for you and how you might feel and the success of your pregnancy. Maybe there's been some past things that you've dealt with before that you're worried about happening again, or maybe this is your first time and it's just a big unknown. Everyone's journey is different and every situation is different. Every pregnancy is different. So whether this is your first pregnancy or your fifth, it can be completely different for you. It's a big deal. There's a body growing inside of you. There's a living thing that is pulling what it needs from you. There are physiological changes that are going on. There is so many hormonal things going on during pregnancy that are physically changing our body, changing the makeup of our brain. So our mood is being affected, how we are handling stress, our emotions, and the way that we're thinking. We can be worried about how it's going to affect our body in the very present moment and afterward and beyond and forever. All of the changes that we're going through, if our body will ever be the same again. We're consumed by all these thoughts, and then we're told to not be anxious and to not be stressed. So it all starts with taking care of yourself, handling your priorities so that we can, in a healthy way, get through all of these steps and alleviate any concerns. If you take care of yourself mentally and physically, you're taking care of yourself physically for your baby, and you're helping handle those stress hormones that are also affecting your baby. So let's hop right into it. First and foremost, it is so important to get your priorities straight. Being pregnant, we're bombarded with so many thoughts, and it can be really distracting and overwhelming. The first thing you might be dealing with is any pregnancy symptoms that you're having. If you're going through morning sickness, or you're going through some crazy swelling, maybe some joint pain, maybe difficulties sleeping, crazy mood swings, extreme exhaustion, we can be worried about our environment. Is it safe? Is it stable? Do I have the support that I need? We're thinking of all the things we need. Oh my goodness, all of the baby items. Especially if this is your first kiddo, this can be very overwhelming. We have nothing. We have nothing. What in the world, where do I even begin? We obviously don't have anything. Where am I gonna register? How am I gonna know what I need? Am I missing something? Finances. Am I financially ready? Was I planning on this happening, or is this completely unexpected? Where are we at financially? What does insurance cover? Am I gonna be able to work through my pregnancy? What is working gonna look like? How difficult is it going to be to do that? Am I supported at work? How is that gonna look? That's just the tip of the iceberg, all of those things. These are things you're going to be thinking about throughout the entire pregnancy. So pick out what is the most important. What are you dealing with right now? For me, I made a folder in my phone in the notes section that was completely dedicated to processing these things, putting down questions as they come, listing out my resources that I have, anything I need to follow up with. As I researched, if I found something was helpful, whether it was an article or even a YouTube video or a personal experience someone shared, as I had the answer, I had a separate list for those answers. As somebody recommended a certain item, or I came across something that I wanted to research further, I had a list of what I need to research. I found that apps were very helpful, and so I had that in my resources tab, Here's an article, here's a YouTube video, here's types of apps I want to find. An app that I found helpful for registry items was called Babylist. This was also a research tool for me. With Babylist, I loved it because as I came across anything anywhere, literally I could come across a product on Etsy or Amazon or Bye Bye Baby, Pinterest, anything that was recommended by anybody. If I looked it up and found it, I could add it to my registry on Babylist. And it's divided into sections, sleeping, diapering, feeding, transportation, etc. And I could visually look and see, okay, these are things that I've researched and I know what I want here. Here's the car seat that I researched and I put it here. I need to fill in the blanks in these areas. Or I wouldn't have the time to research it all immediately, right? So-and-so over here recommended this kind of bottle, and so here said this kind worked well for them. So I would add them all. I would have like 4 different kinds of bottles that I went ahead and put on the baby list. And then as I had time, maybe before I went to bed and wasn't doing anything, I would go to the baby list and I would pick one topic, bottles, and research them. And I would start taking them off as I narrowed it down. And then when I narrowed it down, that was done and I would move on to the next one. For me, I found it to be very overwhelming to just have like one day where you just register for everything. And people are constantly recommending things and telling you things throughout your pregnancy. And I didn't want to just impulsively scan items for the sake of having that thing and then wishing that I had gotten something else that might have been better. So that was a nice gradual process to be able to add everything. I also liked it because they sent me weekly updates about where I'm at in the pregnancy. It was just another source of information. It was refreshing to be able to glance at those weekly updates about what is going on in my body, what to be expecting next, what to be putting into my body, things that I might be deficient in right now. If I'm experiencing a symptom, here's probably why. Here's what's going on. Information is power. I would experience certain symptoms. Hey, my nose has been so stuffy, I can't breathe through my nose. Well, actually, here's why that's really common and here's what's going on. So it makes it all of a sudden not scary. Hear what everyone has to say about their experiences. It is good to start hearing the possibilities of what can happen, or maybe how somebody got through a hard situation in their pregnancy or their delivery. But also take it with a grain of salt, knowing that your experience is completely 100% unique to you. Taking with a grain of salt what your own mother says about her pregnancy with you. Taking with a grain of salt what everybody has to say or any information that you're finding. YouTube is a huge resource. When you see multiple videos from multiple people with different experiences, you start to pick up on patterns and you'll pull from things what you think applies to you, and maybe you'll get some ideas about certain things you want to do. Maybe someone will bring up something you hadn't thought before and you can add that to your list of questions, or you can start developing your own ideas of, yeah, I want my birth plan to look that certain way. I want to give birth in that way, or I want to plan for this after birth. Look up videos, look up articles about having an epidural or not having an epidural. What kind of pain management are you interested in? Are you wanting to manage your pain via a medication or naturally? Am I gonna breastfeed? Am I gonna do formula? You're not going to immediately go into pregnancy knowing what you think about everything. It's going to take research and information to develop that opinion. Another thing that the YouTube videos are so useful for is what people are packing in their bags, what people wish they had packed, what they wish they did not pack. Ask your hospital about what they will be giving you to send home. That was something I didn't even know was a thing until I had been watching YouTube videos. People were talking about, hey, my hospital sent me with this, this, and this for postpartum. See what your hospital does. Thank goodness that I even knew that that was something my hospital did, because then I just didn't have to pack as many things. You don't know what you don't know. So branching out and learning other people's experiences, watching these YouTube videos helped pick up on questions for me to ask my provider or ask my hospital. Especially, I found them helpful when it came to postpartum. No one talks about what things are going to look like afterwards so much. We get so focused on being healthy while we're pregnant, dealing with morning sickness, dealing with swelling, dealing with being uncomfortable, getting everything ready to be ready as best as we can, and then dealing with our birth plan, mentally preparing for giving birth. It's important to set those expectations of what your recovery looks like, especially if you are going into this with your significant other. It is so important that not just you, but the other person understands what you're going to be going through this next month. They don't know all the things that are going on the inside of your body still, and how things hormonally are still affecting you. You will feel much more supported if you share these things with that person, and you will feel much less crazy if you understand what's going on in your body. It's important to get your finances straight. Don't wait for someone to contact you about what your finances will look like. Making that phone call to your insurance company in the very beginning, understanding what the outlook is for your personal situation, and then you can ask better questions from there. So I had a list of insurance questions so I could set up our payment arrangements. We personally had our delivery at a hospital, so handling what things were going to look like there with the hospital stay, my care versus my son's care, how to get my son on insurance, what that looks like, how soon you need to do that, and being able to get those financial concerns out of the way in the very beginning was very helpful, because then we were able to set things aside throughout the whole process so we didn't get hit with that at once. Like I said in the very beginning of the video, this is a lot to think about. There are multiple trains of thought going on almost simultaneously as you're pregnant. So it's important to be here now, focus on what is in front of you, and take it step by step. You have to handle those initial concerns and initial things going on first before you can plan for the next thing. You'll feel better as those little needs are checked off the list, as those conversations with insurance happens and those questions are researched and those things are talked about in your appointment. The important part is to prioritize, get organized, take it step by step, put all of your thoughts in one place, pick the things that you need to handle now, and then you can handle things later, one step at a time. But research, gain information so that you can create your own opinions, form your questions. Some questions will be answered, some are impossible to be answered. Just remember to cross the bridge as you come to it, and that everybody is different. Take everything with a grain of salt. Know yourself and accept the unknown. You have to. You have to accept the unknown, because there is no person that can tell you exactly what this process is going to look like for you. Be your own advocate, and as you come across a problem, look into the solution. As you come across a question, look into the answer, and accept the unknown. And also just remember that you are a woman. Your body was made to do this. So trust your body, regardless of what your history is with pregnancy. Just trust your body, because there's nothing that you can control about all the ins and outs of pregnancy or what your delivery is going to look like. So I hope this video was helpful. I know it'll be helpful for me as I cross this bridge whenever that happens again for me. And yeah, hope this was helpful.